I'm Lorina. I'm number 22 on the women's soccer team. I'm a transfer from Northwestern Ohio and play right now here in my first season as a defense midfielder. And I'm going to answer now some questions.
The first question is, what are you currently most obsessed with?
Okay. I think most obsessed about is, of course, soccer. It's my big passion, and I love to watch games, especially right now the Women's Champions League is running the first round, so I love to watch that. Otherwise, family, friends, the team, like getting to know the new school, I think is also something I'm really curious about. Okay. I think I would go with a lot of people on my team, also from the past and now, because it's a very fun team. It's fun to watch. I think some of them are getting scared pretty easy, so I think a dark cave would be a challenge for some of them. But yeah, I think overall, I would definitely take my defense because those are the girls that are holding my back, my midfielders. We're all sticking together, so I don't think there are like specific people I would choose, but definitely would feel comfortable with them. I think it was my older brother who always played soccer, and also my mom. I grew up in a really soccer family, and she had older brothers. So she was always had a passion for soccer and was always into it. And then having a little daughter who's also into soccer was always something that supported me a lot. Both of my parents were always there, going with me to soccer games, watching every game. Until today, they're watching all of the games, even though I'm in the US. And they're sometimes at 2 a.m. in Germany. Like, my family is always very supportive about it, and I really like this, and I think this always helped me keep going with soccer.
Huh. The question was...
My first memory of soccer. Yeah. My first memory of soccer is when my mom brought me to the first soccer practice. And I remember, I think it was raining that day, and it was muddy and dirty, and I don't know if she expected if I would ever like it because it was all dirty and muddy. But I loved it. I just love to play soccer, be with the other kids, running around, chasing the ball. And I don't know, since then I always loved playing in the rain. Like, I just love it. It's amazing. The ball is fast. And
You guys just missed out last Saturday on playing in the rain.
Exactly. It was like right after, and I loved playing in the rain. It's really good.
How old were you when you first practiced? When it was all
I think about 4 or 5 years old.
4 or 5 years?
I don't know for sure when I had my first practice, but I was pretty young, but I always played in the yard and like back home with friends. So
wow, you were young.
Yes, like soccer is the sport in Germany, and
like just when you're learning to run, you were playing soccer.
Yeah, the ball was always around with me. Even sometimes I carried it in my hands, but it was mostly on my feet. I do think there are some differences in the soccer. The US is a lot of physical. That's also something I had to get used to as a player. It is a lot more running without the ball than it is in Europe. In Europe, you let the ball more run than you actually. So it's a lot tactical and technical, while the US is often on full speed all the time. While in Europe, they're like, okay, let's settle down, let's keep the ball, keep possession, and then when it's on, we go. While the US is like, okay, let's try until we get through. And that's a mentality I had to get used to, but I like it. It's a lot physical, and I slowly got used to. And especially playing now with a lot of American teammates, it helped me to get used to it.
I never knew that.
After my degree at UNOH, I always wanted to continue my bachelor because I did the associates in mechatronic there, and I always wanted to be an engineer, so I wanted the bachelor for sure, but they didn't offer it, unfortunately. So I started to look for a transfer, and Coach Pete found me on my agency for college athletes. It was a simple email with some information about the school. We got to know each other really fast in some emails, some calls. We had a great connection from the beginning. So I think that helped me, and then he invited me to come here, and I met him in person. That was basically the day I decided to come here because I was very comfortable with being here and learning from him. So it was a really quick deal to come here.
Well done, well done.
Yeah.
You did a really good job.
Yeah, I'm happy here. I'm happy for this. My favorite moment so far was definitely my 2 goals. I mean, as a defender, it's always a highlight to score, especially. I think it was pretty special goals for me, coming here new and then scoring right from the start, basically. I really like that. I had my first assist before that with Regan. So I do think those are special moments connected to soccer, but also getting to know the team. I was pretty nervous to come here, meeting the new team, being the new girl again. So yeah, I think that's some of my favorite moments are mostly with the team and hanging out, doing stuff together, having meals together, cooking as a team. So. Before the season, I wish I would have told myself to be more confident, to not be shy. I am the new player that was just brought in here, but I wish I would have taken maybe some leadership a little bit earlier on the season, taking on some younger girls maybe a bit earlier than I maybe did now on the field, and just being more myself on the field. Because I think at the beginning I tried too much to fit in, which made it harder to actually fit in. Yeah. So I think just doing what I do, having fun, getting to know the girls would have been the better option than trying to analyze too much.
Pete didn't bring you in to fit in. Like
yeah.
Pete knew your strengths and he wanted you to play to your strengths. So
yeah, sure that I had to figure out for a while, but yeah. I think now I'm pretty at a good spot with the team and can move on from there.
You've done an excellent job, though.
Thank you.
Watching on, you can see that.
Thanks.
And then what do you hope to tell yourself in the future after the season's over?
After the season, hopefully that we made it. Like we made it as a team, we figured it out, we got together as a team and just being like with a good feeling for next year also, going into spring, into the break, and being like we really did everything we could as a team to turn around maybe what we've lost in other games. Yeah. So. I do think talking German helps me a lot to impress my emotions, my feelings on the field. It's just, I speak the whole day English and then having an emotion just doesn't translate into English for me, especially on the pitch. In that moment just comes what first is in my head and 90% of the time that's in German. And they're not always the English words to describe what I'm feeling in that moment. And the English word, even if it translates, doesn't have the same meaning for me in that moment as it does in German. So I have to talk at this moment German and just to move on and let it out, to have the emotion that I have in that moment. And yeah, that's why I often speak some words in German on the pitch, which my team has recognized more and more. But yeah, it will keep happening. Yeah, what I miss most about home is I think, of course, my family, friends, the culture, and also the food. I really miss European food. I mean, I love being in the US. Some things are here different than back home, but I miss that a lot. Being with my family, friends, especially like special days, like birthdays, events, when the whole family comes together and you're just on the phone on FaceTime and you cannot be there physically. I think that's one of the hardest times. But these are also the moments where California becomes more my home, because I mentioned earlier the team is kind of here, my family, my social life. So small things like having meals together is something big that I value at home. So having here meals together with my team, spending time with them, getting to know them better are definitely the things that make me feel home most. Yeah, my go-to meal after games is definitely barbecues. I love making barbecues, just the environment, being with the people, putting on the meat on the grill, sitting on the fire, being with the family and friends. So I think that's one of my favorites. And as I mentioned, we have a lot of different kinds of meat in Germany. So I think a German barbecue is very different to an American. So yeah, I really love barbecues. putting on different stuff, different meat, different vegetables.
Do you have a favorite like meat variety for like meat dish for a barbecue?
No, not really. Like I like to try different things, different kinds of meat. And it's not that in Germany like you put one on and that's what you eat. You put on a lot and everyone takes a little bit of everything. So you can try different kinds of meat, different sausages from different animals. It's like a big coming together. Everyone brings something and you share with everyone.
Bring your own food.
Yeah, you bring everyone and then you share with everyone. And everyone can try from everyone. I think a player I always admired was Toni Kroos. He's a big idol for me, playing for the national team for so many years, playing for Real. So I think he's a really good player. I think also kind of similar type of play that I play. So as a kid, I always also supported Jennifer Marchand, who's a German national team player and played long years for Frankfurt and Olympique Lyon. She's more forward than I actually play, but just her technique, her shooting skills were always impressive for me as a kid. And I bought jerseys of her and I was really impressed by her. Now that I'm older, I'm still a huge fan of Toni Kroos. I mean, his style of play has never changed. So I think he's still a very impressive person. Another player that I kind of added to that is Svenja Hud, who's the captain of the national team right now. She's doing impressive on the field. She's also more offense than I play, but also her mentality, the technical skills, and the leadership that she puts to the national team is impressive, and I like to look up to them.